Na was für ein Chaos. Jetzt wieder, Achtung, außen. Wer bleibt länger auf dem Gas?
Before we see how this one goes out, we look back at the history of one of F1's greatest but also forgotten overtakes in the first episode of Sport Nerd's F1 Stories.
Du bist Weltmeister!
It's the 24th of September 2000, round 15 out of 17 championship races. Formula One is making a big comeback in the United States of America. It's the first race in the US since 1991, and the anticipation is big. 250,000 motorsport fans have come out to the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, the Formula One wouldn't drive the classic oval track that we all know from the Indy 500. Therefore, between 1998 and 2000, a road course was built into the oval area. The Formula One therefore would race a combination racetrack. The 2000 season was Schumacher's fifth of bringing the championship back to Maranello. In 1996, the car was unreliable, even rolling out in the formation lap. In 1997, he led the championship with 1 point over Jacques Villeneuve going into the last race. Schumacher drove into Villeneuve as he would try to pass him in lap 48. Villeneuve could continue and Schumacher was out. Ferrari's dreams were shattered. He was later even disqualified from the 1997 season. New rules in 1998 saw the rise of a new challenger. Williams was gone, and McLaren was back in the picture in a big way. Mika Häkkinen as a driver, Adrian Newey as the chief designer, and the powerful Mercedes engine proved too much for Schumacher and Ferrari. Although it was again a fight until the last race. The Ferrari F399 seemed to finally be the right car to bring the title back to Maranello. But Schumacher crashed out at the British Grand Prix in Silverstone and broke his leg. He would need to sit out 5 races and the title again going to Häkkinen and McLaren. Häkkinen would start the 2000 season awful, trailing Schumacher by 24 points after 3 races, and after catching up a little bit, again by 24 points after 8 races. To put this one into perspective, in 2000 we had a different point system. You would get 10 points for a win, 6 points for a second place, 4 points for the third, 3 points for the fourth, 2 for the fifth, and 1 point for a 6th place finish. Also, the length of the season was shorter. Today's calendar has 24 races. So 8 races into the season would only have a third of the length. In 2000 we had 17 races, so Häkkinen would trail by 24 points almost at the halfway mark here. But then the tide would turn and Schumacher wouldn't finish in the next 3 races. Häkkinen on the other side would make 22 points and win the races in Hungary and Belgium. In Spa he would muscle his way past Schumacher in a titanic battle and with one of the greatest overtakes in F1 history. Häkkinen again led the championship now with 6 points over Schumacher. The German would fight back and win in front of the Tifosi in Monza. So going into round 15, the third last race of the season, the points tally was Häkkinen 80 and Schumacher 78. So the pressure was big in Indianapolis, and definitely more on the red side. Häkkinen and McLaren proved to be a championship winning team, winning the last 2 seasons against Ferrari. Ferrari, on the other hand, were waiting desperately for another Drivers' World Champion for over 20 years, the last one being the South African Jody Scheckter in 1979. And also Schumacher. He was almost Ferrari's last hope. Coming from Benetton as a back-to-back world champion and the best driver in the world to Ferrari in 1996, he would carry the burden of a whole nation. Fiat and Ferrari boss Gianni Anginelli even said, "If Ferrari don't win the title with Schumacher, then they will never win the title again." And they paid Schumacher in the big way for his services. With a yearly salary of $25 million, that made him by far the highest paid driver of his era. Adjusted for inflation today, it would be worth $51 million. Schumacher delivered in qualifying. taking the pole position in front of Häkkinen's teammate David Coulthardt. Häkkinen in third place. Coulthard himself being not completely out of the championship with 19 points behind Häkkinen and also having a few close calls with Schumacher over the last 3 years. So it was time. The race would start and Coulthard would take the lead into turn 1. Behind him, Schumacher and Häkkinen. But it wouldn't take long to see that Coulthard had jumped the start. That meant a 10-second stop-and-go penalty, which put him out of the race and out of the championship for good. But when he would take the penalty was up to McLaren, and they started to slow Coulthard down to push Schumacher back in Häkkinen's reach. A little reminder, overtaking in 2000 was much more difficult than today, because there was no DRS. Today in this situation, Schumacher would easily overtake Coulthard on the main straight. Back then, Coulthard could block Michael in the infield and it was almost impossible to find a way past him. Also, Coulthard had nothing to lose here. He was out of the race, out of the championship, so he played the perfect team game for Häkkinen. Schumacher tried it for the first time in lap 5, but got blocked by Coulthard. Häkkinen now directly behind him. Schumacher was stuck in a McLaren sandwich. The pressure was enormous. If this goes wrong, he may lose the championship again for Ferrari. With all that in mind, we come back to the start of this video. Enjoy.
Michael bleibt draußen. Eine weitere Runde. Na was für ein Chaos. Jetzt wieder Achtung außen. Wer bleibt länger auf dem Gas? Mein lieber Mann, Schumacher
ist
arbeitet
dabei.
sich vorbei.
Das ist ja sensationell. Beinahe haben sie sich berührt. Auf der Außenbahn vorbei. Jetzt hat aber Coulthard geschlafen. Da hat er zu viel Gas weggenommen.
Schumacher did it. He muscled his way past Coulthard in one of the greatest overtakes in F1 history. They even made contact. I used the German commentary here because, as you may hear, I'm also a German, and in this case, the commentators are going crazy here. Back to the topic, and the reason why I think that this overtake is maybe often overlooked. Because in the end, it maybe didn't matter that much. Häkkinen rolled out on lap 26 with an hydraulic failure. Schumacher won the race easy and would go with an 8-point advantage over Häkkinen to the second last race in Suzuka, where he would clinch the title finally and bring it back to Ferrari. Now I want to know from you guys, is Schumacher's overtake against Coulthard one of the greatest ever or not? Let me know in the comments below. And feel free to give me ideas what I should cover in the next episode of F1 Stories. I'm also planning a Schumacher vs Häkkinen rivalry video, probably around the end of November. So leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any new content coming your way. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.